This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. This video was actually recorded in sort of like mid-January 2023. And that's before Elodie was born. So this was during a phase where I was kind of banking quite a lot of videos, careful how you say that, so that I could spend 5 days in hospital with Leanna. She did most of the work, but I was there. And yeah, so I put this video in the bank, and essentially it sat there for a long time because I was waiting for Boss to actually make it possible to upload the Nextone special presets to the Boss Tone Exchange. So the Boss Tone Exchange, if you've not checked it out, is a place where you can grab presets. There's stuff from guys like the Studio Rats on there. I've put some tone sets up on there myself, and a lot of kind of user generated stuff as well, and you know, loads of other video makers. Maybe Alex Hutchins has probably got some up there as well. But yeah, so that's why I held off kind of letting this video go up, because I was waiting for them to make that available. I had a conversation with them and said, I've actually got this video ready to go, and it's been ready for more than a year. And he said, well, just upload it when you've got, you know, a gap and let it go. So this was a sponsored video. They sent me the amplifier to check out, and then I sent it back to them, but they paid me to make the live set, which presumably will one day go up online. But the interesting thing about this amp for me is that it's kind of, we're used to modeling amps essentially being kind of like entry-ish level, and oftentimes they'll have like not a great speaker. Oftentimes they might not, you know, so like the Catalyst has like a proprietary kind of speaker. The normal Katana has some sort of other speaker in it. What they did with the Nextone Special is kind of throw a bit more money at it. I think the Nextone amp modeling is distinct from Katana as well, although it's not exactly clear how that works. But yeah, there's like this Nextone line which runs alongside Katana and GT and all that stuff. But what the Nextone Special essentially is like a more posh version of, you know, a modeling amplifier. And what's quite interesting about it, and I think this is probably the real key to what makes this amplifier a bit different, is that they put in a really nice speaker. So you've got the Boss Wazacraft, I think it's the Bluebell style speaker, and you know, that's a nice feature. I think they put that in the Boss Katana Artist combo as well. I've definitely seen a green version of that as well somewhere. But the other thing is that they kind of got this power switching thing where you can switch between physical transformery type things that sound like an EL84, sound like a 6v6, sound like a 6L6 type thing. So it's a little bit different, as well as having like loads of controls tweakable on the front panel. Whereas the Katana, comparatively, it looks like a bit more of a simple amplifier. Now, I don't hear much about the Nextone Special, so maybe there isn't a huge appetite for the more expensive modeling tube amplifier, but I was quite impressed with it. It sounds really good, I think. My preferred Boss amp of choice is still the Katana head, because I can then pair that with like my Mesa Boogie speaker down here. But I think it's an interesting amplifier, and certainly some of the tones that I recorded from it, I think probably are better than a lot of the tones that I've got out of the Katana in some ways. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. What would make you consider the Nextone Special? Have you heard about it before? Have you not heard about it? To me, it's like the Boss amp that no one really talks about too much, because we're so used to hearing about the Katana. What about this other stuff? I don't know. Here's a video on that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Yeah, it was before I was a dad even. Long time. Cheers. So this is the Boss Nextone special. Now Boss have asked me to put together a live set for this, which you'll be able to get on the Boss Tone Exchange. But I also kind of wanted to introduce you to the Boss Nextone special in case you've not heard of it or you're wondering like, what is this thing? So essentially what this is an amp where you've got quite a lot of customizability, especially in terms of the power amp. Now there are 4 physical power amps in here which you can switch between. They're not modeling, they're kind of actual analog emulations of a 6v6, which would be like your Fender Princeton Deluxe Reverb, a 6L6, which would be your Bassmans and your Twins, an EL84, which would be like your Vox type things, and also an EL34, your Marshall type tubes. So you've got 4 power amp sections. What you've also got is a British and an American tone stack, and essentially you switch between a clean and a lead, and you've got 3 main presets and the panel. The main question that I have around this sort of thing is, how does it sound? And the answer I've found is, yeah, really good and really quite versatile. The build quality of it as well is, as you'd expect, a step up above the Katana, I'd suggest. So in terms of I just wanted to show you some of the stuff that you can do with it. So you've got a solo switch on each of these, as well as being able to switch between 2 channels. As you can see, I've got a clean setup here, and then a really kind of crunchy, hot, screaming lead tone. Okay, and then I've got kind of a more voxy, and I can switch to a hotter vox. And then I also just dialed in something kind of warm. What other things you can do with this, you've got power scaling stuff and a master volume. Apparently they all have a bit of a different feel. So you can adjust the master. This is on 0.5 watt. And so, you know, if you went up to max here, it's incredibly loud. So really tons of versatility, tons of volume on tap if you need it. What's also cool about it is you've got an app where you can get in there and you can make, so like for that lead tone, I went in and I made a few edits to the EQ which you've got on there. You can also change your boost types, you can change your delay types and your reverb types, as well as there's an EQ on the line out which you can edit, or system EQ as well. There's loads of really kind of useful tweakability in there. I think you could totally gig this amp as well if you're looking for something that you could use live, which kind of has all of the goodness of, or most of the goodness of a tube amp, but also is a far more tweakable kind of thing. Also for that really high gain stuff, it's got a noise suppressor built in if you go into the editor, which is really useful too. So I think you could probably dial in pretty much most things. Like I've shown you there, you could do really clean stuff, or you could do really heavy stuff, and kind of all of the in-betweens as well. And you've also got a tremolo in there instead of a delay if you want it, as I showed you on the Vox. You've also got like control of the power amp damping. So I'll show you what this does a sec. So if you have it all the way off, you've got kind of no damping. So that's where you get the most top end. If you turn it all the way up, it starts to soften that. Power amp again, so all the way off. It's thinner, and all the way on. So yeah, it's got such a lot of, and with higher gain tones, and all of this is tweakable per channel. So all the way off. Got all of the sizzle, all the way off. And so then if you decided, right, I want all of the gain, you can use that power damping to really kind of dial in the level of kind of upper end stuff that you want. You can also dial in a boost on each channel. You know, and it's kind of, you can turn these things on or off on the panel or with a foot switch. So on this clean, I'll just switch between 6v6 to 6L6 to EL84 to EL34. Okay, and then you've also got American or British preamp flavor. So, you know, real things that are actually making like subtle but real differences. So I'm really impressed with it. Kind of first day turning it on. If you decided that's too much bottom for me, you could turn on that custom voicing at the bottom. Okay, and let's just listen to the difference tube type wise with a lot of gain. So I'm really impressed with it. I think I put together, you know, sort of three, you know, where you can switch between lower gain, and yeah, does it sound good loud? Absolutely. Does the power scaling stuff work? Yes, absolutely. So It's also got an XLR out for live use, which has a few different settings like blend, recording, and live. So you can, you know, so you can then go between those depending on what your gig situation is or whether you're recording at home. The line out sounds like this. You know, certainly loads of different tones that you could delve into in that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you tried one of these, did you dig it? Certainly, I think it's got so much of the stuff that you'd want to edit on the front panel. I think that's a real benefit. The difficulty with some of these kind of digital products is it can be a bit difficult to use the front panel without getting into an app and stuff, whereas this is quite easy to use, you know, once you just figure out, well, there's channel 1 and channel 2. It's all there, and I think sounds really good in the room. I don't know how it's coming across on the mic, but I'm enjoying it. Thank you for stopping by. Feel free to like and subscribe. Thank you, Boss, for sending me this to check out for a while at least, and I'll catch you in another video soon. Cheers.